My name is Harry. I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
And I'm glad many of these some white people still have their heads on their shoulders. Okay, next tweet. Okay, let's go. Biden, President of the United States. You still have time to cement an even greater legacy and protect America from another dictator. Make the last 6 months extra special. Consumers are held hostage by lack of competition, gougeflation, and price fixing. It's emojis. New at Kamala Harris endorses the Supreme Court and presidential reform. President of the United States Biden is set to lay out today during a visit to the LBJ Library, the National Archive and Records Administration in Austin. This popular reform will help to restore confidence in the court, strengthen our democracy, and ensure no one is above the law. We need to get people who are for this to run for office and allowed that to happen. Like I said at the beginning, this is a process. Democracy, we're not perfect. People have to believe in it and work on it. But if you have people within it who's willing to destroy it, it's not gonna work. Okay, so this is like a constitutional thing that needs to be done, and it needs many people to make it happen. The president can bring it forward, but if the people who elect, let's say, representatives and senators are not for it, we're out of luck. All right, so we need to pay attention who's for it. And I hope after this election, people still pay attention and vote in the midterm election, every election. Okay, so there's that here. Statement from Vice President Kamala Harris on Supreme Court reforms. In the courts of our nation history, trust in the Supreme Court of the United States has been critical to achieve equal justice under law. President Biden and I strongly believe that the American people must have confidence in the Supreme Court. Yet today, there is a clear crisis of confidence facing the Supreme Court, as its fairness has been called into question after numerous ethics scandals and decision after decision overturning long-standing precedents. Okay, that's like Roe versus Wade and all of that. That is why President Biden and I are calling on Congress to pass important reforms, from imposing term limit for justices' active service to requiring justices to comply with binding ethics rules just like every other federal judge. And finally, in our democracy, no one should be above the law, so we must also ensure that no former president has immunity for crimes committed while in the White House. These popular reforms will help to restore confidence in the court, strengthen our democracy, and ensure no one is above the law. Okay, glad Supreme Court reform has made it to the top of Democratic agenda. It's about a decade too late, but finally, now these reforms are no more than discussion starters. That's right. I think so too. But let's hope they will be refined into effective, realistic reform plan. It will be hard because I think it's like amending the Constitution. So we need to be very careful with that. And people we vote to be in position to help change that is very critical. All right, we have a perfect example that had happened in our lifetime. President Obama. We could have been so far forward into the future, but due to our greed, stupidity, racism and all of that, we prevent that from happening. We had 4 years after President Obama, waste of time. And we have, when President Biden came in, we could have done so much more. Then what happened at the midterm election? We prevent the House of Representatives to overturn for Democratic, and then you have the Republicans who take control of the House, creating BS, nonsense. All right, don't put any significant rules or laws to be put on the I don't know, on the floor for people to vote, except it's stupidity after stupidity after stupidity. And we wasted like 2 years after that. Okay, so we need to vote. All right, let's go to the next one. 83. Is that the one? Let me make sure I'm grabbing. A couple times I skip stuff. Okay, so I almost, let's go Biden. Okay, so this is another one here. Okay, I feel like I'm skipping something, but let me make sure. Is that the one that I did? Okay, so that's the one I did. I wanted to make sure. And this one is next. Okay, let's pause. This is a TikTok video. 2019, Senator Kamala Harris explained why cyber exploitation is a better term than revenge porn. Vice President Harris is an intelligent and empathetic woman. There's all those hashtag, not hashtag, she tagged some people. I don't know who they are. All right, so let's listen to the TikTok. There's no comment, so after that I go to the next one, and it's not a retweet. Let's listen.
Answered a question for Cosmopolitan magazine about a position that she holds on women's safety online. Now, this is a question you will never hear a man be asked or have to answer to, but take a listen to what she said.
One of the issues that I have dealt with in the last few years, that is a
okay, I wanted to read this. 2019, Kamala Harris wants us to stop using the term that predominantly shame women. Okay, I thought it was the question that was asked to her. Let's move it back.
Or two, but take a listen to what she said.
One of the issues that I have dealt with in the last few years that is associated but has been highlighted because of technology is what the press calls revenge porn. But I've said stop using that term. Because the term revenge porn, one, revenge, suggests that she's done something wrong that then deserves this kind of response, which of course is ridiculous. What she did is she was in a consensual relationship, taking photographs, sharing them in a consensual relationship, and then she breaks up with dude. And he's upset about it, and then tries to figure out how to embarrass her and demean her and belittle her. And then publishes these photographs. So she has done nothing that deserves this conduct. Porn. Well, one, it's a loaded term, meaning it is loaded with judgment. But two, and most importantly, she did not take that photograph with any intention that it would be published for the public. So it is not revenge or porn. And for that reason, I've said that the term should be cyber exploitation. Which is the use, right, of cyber technology in a way that it has been designed and intended to exploit predominantly women. And, you know, on that subject, as with so many things, we're still at a point in America where people are really uncomfortable with women's sexuality. And so there's so much judgment that attaches with that. And an attempt to shame women. Right? So, you know, I could go on with more detail, but this is the range of things that I think about when we're on this topic.
Very interesting. Okay, so that's that. I did some rearrangement on my list while I was listening to her. So this one I had all the way at the bottom of my list, and I realized I have some tweets from UK, so I'm probably gonna take the UK ones and put it completely different. So this looked like it's almost the same time or place when from that last video. There it is here, 2019. So I don't know if it's the same thing. Is it? I don't think so. Okay, for those who wants to know who Kamala Harris is, here she is in 2019. We see you for who you are, Kamala Harris. Okay, so let's listen.
The press calls revenge porn.
It's almost the same
but I've
thing.
said stop using that term. because the term revenge porn, one, revenge, suggests that she's done something wrong that then deserves this kind of response, which of course is ridiculous. What she did is she was in a consensual relationship, taking photographs, sharing them in a consensual relationship, and then she breaks up with dude. And he's upset about it, and then tries to figure out how to embarrass her and demean her and belittle her, and then publishes these photographs. So she has done nothing that deserves this conduct. Porn. Well, one, it's a loaded term, meaning it is loaded with judgment.
Okay, so it's the same thing as the previous one.
And most importantly, she did not take that photograph with any intention that it would be published for the public. So it is not revenge or porn. And for that reason, I've said that the term should be cyber exploitation. Right? Which is the use, right, of cyber technology in a way that it has been designed and intended to exploit predominantly women. And, you know, on that subject, as with so many things, we're still at a point in America where people are really uncomfortable with women's sexuality. And so there's so much judgment that attaches with that. And an attempt to shame women. Right? So, you know, I could go on with more detail, but this is the range of things that I think about when we're on this topic.
Okay, so that is the same thing as the previous one. So I'm glad I brought it up. I put it twice on the list. So this is another one I rearranged as well. So let's listen here. Alright, Texas police tried to arrest a librarian for checking out a book by civil rights icon Toni Morrison. This is what Republicans have done to Texas. Vote them all out. Okay, so this is the thing they want for the entire country. Alright, so let's listen to this. Oh my God, is this? I remember, yeah. Wow. I'm just going through the comment really quick, but let's see the video. It's 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Essentially, the librarians are my suspects. If they're the ones that are choosing books and putting them in there, you know, they're the ones that are carrying the criminal liability.
A Texas officer attempted to arrest librarians over books.
I'm not sure that all the books will necessarily fit the statutory requirement, but I'm doing a criminal investigation into some of your staff.
The investigation included subpoenas, body cam footage, and even collecting names of students who checked out certain books.
What the
You're a
hell?
librarian, correct? What I'm doing is not an administrative investigation, so I cannot compel you to talk to me.
3 librarians were the target of London's investigation, where he said 6 books warranted charges, such as Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye and Sarah Ma's Account of Thorns and Roses.
Obviously, there's been an allegation of books that were in conflict with the penal code in the library. And so that's what I'm looking into.
He attempted to interview the librarians, but they declined to speak without an attorney. After 2 years and an 824-page investigative file, the district attorney declined to press charges, citing lack of evidence. This case highlights the growing tension over book bans in schools across the U.S.
Can you imagine if this guy gets in the office and this go worldwide? I mean, not worldwide, but to the national in terms of the U.S. This is crazy. Is it this? Inside the 2-year fight, bring charges against school librarian and Granbury. Yes, so that's a Yahoo article. I'll leave it in the description. I'm not gonna read it. Okay? Oh my God. Go fight crime, not libraries. I'm telling you. Okay? Wasting 2 years of taxpayers' dollar is the Republican way. First, they came for the books. This officer will make the moral police and Taliban proud, a prequel to Project 25. That's right. That is right. Such arrests will be national policy under Trump. You watch. That is true. Insanity, abuse of power and people and their civil liberties. Bloody 1984 and Fahrenheit 451. Around here these days, sickening. They'll try to jail librarian, but when they're school's shooter, they stand outside. God help us. Okay, soon the civil rights section will just be that one passage about the color of a man's skin. That's the only thing they remember him saying. What was it? I was just watching a video before I started recording. Is that this guy went, I think he's a trucker, trucker, okay, Trucker, trucker, who went to a diner, and then this guy was celebrating his 80-something years, and then as he went to the bathroom to wash his hand, he wished the guy, you know, happy birthday or something like that. And then I think by the time he came out, most of the people left, and the guy's wife was talking to somebody, and there's some interaction between the trucker, who is black, and the person who was celebrating his birthday. Had a small little conversation. Through the conversation, the 80-something-year-old guy was telling the black guy he used to be a firefighter, and some of the things that he used to do as a firefighter when he goes to a black building, a building or a house that has black people, they don't save the people, they let them burn. They let them burn. And then through that, there were some statistics about how many, you know, people were saved, depending on the location and group of peoples and all of that. These people are evil. Their mind are completely evil.
Hi, I'm Carolyn, and I want you blackies to know that niggers in this neighborhood have curfew, okay? So when the street lights come on, make sure you're in your home, because if you're hanging, you will be swinging. Let's keep it 100, let's keep it a buck. The real reason why these white people don't want their kids to learn about critical race theory is because they don't want their kids to grow up knowing that their parents are fucking monsters.
So what he has done as a firefighter is eating him alive. All these babies, kids, let them to die. Can you imagine this? Oh my Lord. And I think it's not just him. I'm pretty sure many other white firefighters do the same thing too. My God. And then they're calling them heroes. My God. God help us. May their own behavior, the things that they do that are morally wrong, eat them alive. Next tweet. I have a couple more, but the rest that belongs that are from the UK, I'm gonna do it for another video. So let's listen to this. This is a TikTok video. People just Google it, not hard. At this point, you don't want to know the truth. At this point, you don't realize what's at stake, and at this point, we understand we will have to leave some people behind. That's for sure. Okay, thank you. There's the person here for always setting the record straight. All right, so I responded to it. 27. Okay, I'll come back to the comments. So let's listen to this. Let me go into it so it could be bigger. All right.
Let me set the record straight. Kamala Harris was never over the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. She was the Attorney General of the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice does not oversee the CDCR. The CDCR is overseen by the Secretary of the CDCR, which is part of the governor's cabinet. During Kamala Harris's tenure, there were 3 secretaries of the CDCR appointed by then Governor Jerry Brown: Matthew Cate, Dr. Jeffrey Beard, Steve Kernan. Those are the 3 white men that were responsible for all the things that you want to lay at the feet of her. Oh, people will can't pass their prison sentences. Not true. What is true is that the CDCR was under federal court supervision. That had nothing to do with Kamala Harris. That had to do with the fact that prisons were overcrowded, and there was a Public Safety Realignment Act that they needed to come into compliance with. There were various issues with coming into compliance.
Is that why I'm hearing on social media people, even some black people, are saying it too? Oh, she's only arresting black men, put them in jail and all of that. And my response to that was, okay, not knowing all of this, what she's saying here on TikTok, I didn't look deeper, but I just hear people saying Kamala Harris is putting, you know, black people in jail or something. I didn't know the full story. But my response to what they were saying about Kamala Harris, and I was like, okay, so was she supposed to turn a blind eye when people do something wrong? If they violate the law, and if it's her position to do what needs to be done to implement the law, she has to do what she has to do. And there was something else that I said. I forgot what I said. Okay, so let's go back to this.
Because there was no capacity in other facilities throughout the state. There were also concerns about releasing violent offenders. There's this completely false notion that everybody is in jail for weed in California, when the reality is 93% of prisoners in California are there because they're either there for a violent crime or because they have a history of committing violent crimes.
It must be for that. Okay, now I remember what I was thinking, is that when there was a video that I put where this guy, I believe he has to do with union, and he was telling us in the video that what Kamala Harris had done without the fund of the public to help young offenders, first-time offenders for minor crimes, to get training to be a productive citizen. But you don't hear too many people talking about that. So I'm glad she's saying what she knows, which I was not aware and know all those little details, who's supervising other people and all of that. And this is why we have so many people overseeing other people. So we don't have one person running the whole show where there's no oversight. Okay, let me move it back, like right here.
California, when the reality is 93% of prisoners in California are there because they're either there for a violent crime or because they have a history of committing violent crimes. So when the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation needed somebody to represent them, they can't call up John Cochran. They had to be represented by the Department of Justice. The Deputy Attorney Generals represented the interests of their client. And so if you have an issue with what was represented in court, then what you really have an issue with is the position of the Secretary of the CDCR. So go talk to Matt, go talk to Jeff, or go talk to Steve, and keep Kamala's name out of it.
Okay, so that's that. Oh, she has more. Let's listen to this. Looks like it's gonna go straight to TikTok. I'm not really on TikTok.
Let me set the record straight. Kamala Harris was never over the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. She was the Attorney General of the Department
Okay, it's
of Justice.
repeating.
The Department of Justice does not oversee the CDC.
Okay, it's repeating what I just saw. I'm not on TikTok. You see, it's saying to log in. I'm not on TikTok, but I'm able to see the videos. Okay, let me read some of the comments since I'm there. Thank you for that breakdown. I've had this conversation more times and a little bit, and I wasn't sure of the breakdown. Yeah, she pretty much explained the breakdown. I didn't even know what was the problem, but all I was hearing is that Kamala Harris is putting black men in prison and all of that. So she broke it down, who's overseeing certain things and what needs to be done. Okay, I just remember partial and was considering going back to research, so thank you. Research, 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 that's all it takes. Black women will save democracy once again. Yep, that's exactly what's happening now. And thank God many white women are seeing it now. I don't know if when they go in the voting booth, if they really stick to that. Okay, it took me like 48 hours to realize so much of her hate was right-wing propaganda, PR, straight up misinformation. I wish this could be printed and mailed to black men all over the USA. They keep running with false narrative that Kamala locked up. That was the thing that I was seeing. Yes, this is what I was saying. And then my response, without knowing the breakdown, and I said, what was she supposed to do if people are breaking the law? Okay? Alright. That was my only response to it. And then I went on to explain, I share a video of this union guy who was telling the story of how Kamala Harris helped build a program, which later on Kamala Harris had explained in a video where Arnold Schwarzenegger had put into law based of idea that she started for non-violent first-time offenders can use this program to help them build their lives without knowing what she just said here. I don't know everything. I didn't go to law school or anything like that. But I know it could not be true. But this is the nonsense that was going on. Okay, they keep running the false narrative that Kamala locked up black men for weed. Yeah, there's that. Black women will save us. I'm more than happy to give them the long overdue chance. Alright, it's so sad Americans don't know how government works. Well, it is done by design. I want to, how will I say that? In a way, I sort of want to forgive them, and at the same time, there's Google. The information is online. But it was done purposely. Look how they're destroying the school. Like that video that I just shared with you. This police was trying to arrest a librarian because of a book. So it is done by design to dumb down the people. Civic should be taught at a basic level of understanding for kids to start knowing, you know, like for instance, maybe 4th and 5th grade, start knowing your community, who runs your community. And then as you get to other higher grades, okay, who runs the state? I don't know. I'm just saying, because there are different group of people who runs certain department. This is what's good with democracy. Someone oversees other people, so they don't run the thing for one person to run the show. And then who run the state and who run the country? Okay, you have to select two senators from each state to represent you in the Senate, and how many group of representatives from each state to represent, you know, your state. And then when they go to Washington, what are their duties, you know, for the federal government and all of that. So they need to break this down with those kids from 4th and 5th grade, start at level of community. And then when they get to the next level, how each of these groups of people interact with each other to make each state a better, you know, a better state. And then at a higher level, where, you know, you have the president, the House of Representatives, the senators, and the Supreme Court, and all of that. These are the group that run the federal government. So how all of this tie in together? They destroy that. Okay, Republican have been doing it a little bit at a time. That from the beginning of this video where I was talking about, many of these people, those Republicans, are jumping ship. They just want to save face, so in the future when their great-grandkids are looking back, they could say, oh, my daddy was not part, my great-granddaddy was not part of this, they were not part of destroying democracy and all of that. But when in fact many Republicans have been doing these things, destroying democracy a little bit at a time, and it was done by design. This started a long time ago. Now that they get to the point where they want to destroy it all with Trump and everything, many of them are blind. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know that they're voting against their best interests. And then you have those rich and powerful men with tons of money, which they made out of democracy, out of our system. Okay? They're more than willing to destroy it because they will be empowered to protect themselves. Meanwhile, in order for them to have that power, it's the little people who's struggling who will give them that power. They don't know they were voting against their best interests. Okay, so there's all of that. I'm glad this young lady, I don't know who she is, I'm not on TikTok, someone grabbed the link and put it on Twitter. That's how I came across her. I think I've seen her, one or two of her videos on Twitter, but I'm not on TikTok. So back to this. Alright, there was no comment here, and I think my comment was somewhere here. Okay, so there's me here. I'm telling you, America failed many people. Civic classes, look at, I even forgot, that's what I was talking about. July 27, we are July 30th. 3 days ago. Okay, I'm telling you, America failed many people. Civic classes need to be implemented ASAP or after Harris 2024 for the win. If the other one wins, it won't matter anymore. That I'm saying, if Trump wins, you know, civic class won't matter because Trump said that will be the last time you guys have to vote. He'll run the show.
If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. We're the smartest people. We're the most loyal people. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. And you know what I really am happy about? Because I've been saying it for a long time. 46% with the Hispanics. 46%. I love the poorly educated. #1 with Hispanics.
The dumbest genius will run the show. Okay, so some people she responded back. Okay, it's part of the okay, there it is here. It's part of the dummy down scenario because cooperation then make the fact that when people got out and started their own businesses and they need worker bees, parents have to be involved in their children and school if the school doesn't want to teach it at home. I actually, not too long ago, I was talking to my 14-year-old. He's gonna be 15 soon. And I said to him, this election, you're not gonna vote. But comes next election, you will go vote. If I'm alive, I'm gonna make sure you vote. And I told him to start paying attention. My youngest know much more about what's going on than my oldest. We have a computer, and well, there's a computer in their room that when during COVID, so my oldest will be in the room, and then we have a computer in the living room that's for my youngest. During COVID, that's where he used to be, and that's where the family computer is. There's two screens, just like my screen right here in my office, and then we have the office here, and this is why I'm recording in the middle of the night because my husband sometimes work from home. Since COVID, things change, so my routine changed completely. Things that I'm doing now would have been done during the day or whatever, but since he works from home, I give him the computer, the office, to do his thing. But story short, my youngest, when he's playing his video game in the living room, one screen he's playing the game, and on another screen he's watching the news. When President Biden said he's not running, my youngest knew before me. He told me Biden is not running. My oldest is more into sport. He's going to the gym. He's doing his thing. Go play basketball. He's not worrying. And I'm the one who's telling him, you need to start paying attention. Before, I didn't want to tell them all the things that's happening around the world as young black men and things like that. I didn't want to bombard them. My youngest already know about that without me telling him. But occasionally I have some discussion with him because he can take it. My oldest was a bit, I don't know, not fully aware. I don't know if I'm babying him or anything like that, but he was not at the age to know. But now I'm letting him know what's at stake. Come next election, not this one, the next one that's coming for the presidency, he'll be at the age where he will be voting. And I said, start paying attention. Who's running in your neighborhood? Who's running in your state? Who's gonna run for president? You need to know that. Because at the end of the day, these people you're putting in office to create laws and things like that, they the one who's pretty much dictating what you can and cannot do outside of your house. And then if you don't be careful, you might even give your right for anybody, any police or any law enforcement to run into your house without any warrant. So we need to be very careful of that. So I start talking to my son about that literally like last week, because he's into sports and all of that, but he's not really focusing on things, so I'm easing him. But my youngest, he knows this stuff. I could have any conversation with him. He will bring certain questions to me and I will tell him. When he wants to go visit certain places in New York, he already knows where he's gonna go. He will look them up and tell Daddy, take me there, I want to go see these and all of that. So 2 different kids. Yeah, we need to talk to them. All right, so did I finish read? Yeah. So that's that. This is my last one, and then I will do another video that will focus on the UK topic. So I changed some stuff. I hope none of these are for the US. Okay, so this one is a bit longer, 7 minutes, and I'm already an hour plus. Breaking massive Trump scandal uncovered. Trump sided with payday lenders preying on poor and red states when he was president. In 2019, Trump ended a rule that restricted payday lenders from preying on people who can't afford their loans in the first place. I just hope they're paying attention. There's all of this. Oh my God, this is maybe this video that I'm talking and will be breaking into several parts. 7 minutes and 4 seconds. Let's listen.
Now to our special report tonight on policy and profiteering in the Trump era. Congress is already probing the potential corruption in Donald Trump pushing his own Florida hotel to host the next G7 summit. It's another in a string of examples of Donald Trump trying to profit off his government job. Industry groups have also been following Trump's lead. Now, our report tonight focuses on an industry that's gotten quite a bit less attention than other issues these days: payday lenders. And their lobbyists have spent $1 million at Trump's Doral Resort for their annual conferences, sending profits to Trump with a tab featuring steak and shrimp entrees at an open bar. And Doral has a bottle of Trump sparkling wine from Monticello that goes for $18 a glass. Now, these payday lenders aren't just, to use maybe a new phrase, partying like Bill Barr, which is when you spend money at a Trump hotel to impress Trump. They're also getting money thanks to Trump policies. And that's the important part of this special report.
It's like an investment they're making here. Paying Trump all this money, and then all Trump has to do is change the law. And this is why he's telling people, just vote this one time and let me in. You don't have to vote ever again. And then he will implement things like this to benefit him. I don't even think I want to listen to this. If you guys want to listen to it, I'll come back to it. But I'm already past an hour, and there's so much more I need to share with you. So we're not surprised about this. Like this comment say, are you surprised? This is who he is. We all know he's a scammer. Alright, so that's that. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And if you want to support my channel other ways besides the PayPal and Cash App, you could check my shop, Zazzle, which has a lot of puzzles, and I need to add more, and Spreadshop. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness, and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together. Because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.